Hey comic lovers, EMoney here with you, and with me as always, the old man. Alright, so what are we doing today? Well, it's a semi-special episode because we have our first movie review of 2023 today. And today...
Really?
Yeah.
It's freaking late February.
Yeah, how about that? I haven't had any big comic book related movies come out.
Maybe you movie makers gotta get busy.
Yeah. So, of course, today we are reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Alright, so then we're going to have a little bit of news from James Gunn and the DCU. And then we're talking comic book reviews, and then we're going to update you guys on what EMoney and the old man are up to, and what we've been up to as well.
We're up to stuff?
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Okay.
Alright, remember, the only people who can betray us are the ones we trust.
Well,
Duh. This is Back Issues. Alright kids, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about some of these comic books, or let us know what you think about Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, or, whatever you feel like talking about.
I think you should talk about how, no, never mind.
Okay. Alright, so, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the old man and I headed out to our local Cinemark this past Sunday, and we watched it, and, overall, before I get into a lot of details, I had a fun time.
Sure, I mean, it was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Paul Rudd, is always entertaining, likable Scott Lang. So, you want to...
I'm going to come back to that.
Okay. Do you want to open it up, or should I?
Well, you open it up and I'll step all over you.
Okay, so getting into the details and, the nitty-gritty of the film. So
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers.
I tell you what, wait until I go like this and then you can come back.
Okay.
Don't let me forget to do the thing.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so first up, getting, a little nitpicky about things was first, how did Cassie get so smart? I mean...
She didn't get it from Scott.
No. I mean, Scott's not an idiot, but,
he's no scientist either.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine he's picked up a few things since he started hanging out with Hank and Janet and...
all the smart people.
Yeah, all the smart people. But, he's never been, big smarty pants like that. And, we've not heard anything about her mother being that smart. So, where did she get all that from? She sent a probe into the quantum realm. I mean, how does that happen?
She's got to be learning it from him.
I mean...
She's got to be picking stuff up from him. He's got to be schooling her. I mean,
we
know they work together on a few things.
I mean, she must have picked it up really fast because, as we know, Hank and all of them, they were dusted during the blip. So, she must be a fast learner. So, there's that. Also, I kind of found myself missing Scott's heist buddies.
The support team.
Yeah, most importantly, Louise, played by Michael Pena. Sorry if I mispronounced that.
The guy who was on WandaVision and the Rock's TV show, he got in
Agent Wu,
scene.
He showed up for 5 minutes and he did one of these and is like, give me my check. And speaking of fast paychecks, I'm gonna get to another one of those in just a minute here. Okay, so I really wanted him to sum up the Infinity War Endgame story with one of his storytelling monologues. He's like, first of all, there was this big alien guy who was all purple, and then he wanted to get all these rocks, and he built this glove to put them all on, and then he's like, I have the power.
We didn't do that.
Yeah, I wanted him to do all that stuff. That was me just ad-libbing there for a second.
Huh.
Okay, so I missed Louise. Now, speaking of another, fast paycheck, what the heck was up with Bill Murray's character? I mean, he just, pops up in that one scene, talk about, gratuitous cameo.
I'm assuming that Bill Murray's got enough clout that when he says, hey, I want to be in a Marvel movie, they find something for him.
Yeah. I mean, he just came in, he talked, and you find out that he's a bad guy, and...
We also find out that he had a relationship with Jan.
Yeah, how about that? And then we never hear from him again. I thought maybe we'd see his character again in one of the end credit scenes, but nope. Just he was there for maybe a day or two on set, and then he was done. He's like, "Thank you very much," and now I'm part of the MCU. I'll be on my way. Okay, so before I go to my next point, do you have another point you want to add?
I have many points to add.
Okay.
You just tell me when you want me to be unleashed.
You go ahead. Mine is going to come towards the end here.
Okay, so let's talk comic relief.
Okay.
Something that is absolutely unnecessary in a movie. You don't have to have it. You can have a serious, dramatic action movie. Marvel has slowly drifted into Jar Jar Binks' world. I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder was just, oh my God. The hammer was sentient. The hammer was doing jokes. I mean, oh. So,
like whatever magic they had in Thor Ragnarok, what's his name decided, let's crank that up to 11 and see what happens.
Marvel, you don't need that much silliness in your movies.
Mm-mm.
I mean, what are you going to do when you got to turn it around and have a serious, heartbreaking, terrible scene? Everybody's still going to be laughing. Okay, so Scott alone is enough comic relief for a movie. He's funny. That's all you need in an Ant-Man movie. You don't need holy, squishy, spongy guy.
Whatever his name was.
Whatever the guy was that they drank him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need that kind of crap in the movies. Don't need it. Stop it. Stop it. I don't have to laugh one time in a Marvel movie. I don't. To be honest, I didn't because I think it's stupid. But at any rate, you're ruining the Marvel movies for this old man. I want solid action adventures. I know they're from comic books, but comic books doesn't mean funny animal books. It doesn't mean ridiculous silliness. Comic books are pretty serious nowadays. So can we get back to good storytelling and not comic relief every scene? Like, didn't need Bill Murray, like you said, didn't need him. How about we get serious with the next movie? Get rid of the comic relief. I would appreciate it for one. So, at any rate, that's my biggest rant.
Okay.
I thought, and I hope you're not still watching because this is going to spoil stuff, the mid-credit scene, okay, it's possible to have that many Kangs show up in one scene because he's a time traveler. This could be Kang from the year 500. This is Kang from the year 505. This is 510. And you can have that many of the same guy in one room.
Well, they're not supposed to be...
That's not the way they did it, though.
It's not supposed to be the same Kang. It's supposed to be Kangs of different timelines, right?
It's like the Q continuum.
Right.
It's a bunch of different guys.
Okay.
And that's a mistake. That you're not... You're straying from the source material. There's one Kang.
Okay.
One Kang.
All right.
Okay? And that's the only way to make the story make sense. I don't know who decided to go off with 1,000 Kangs, but the old man don't like it.
Okay.
Now, the ending credit scene, the after credit scene, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Way to set up the next Loki TV series.
Right.
I like that. And to be honest, I liked a lot of things. The CGI in this movie, we saw it in the, what kind of theater was it?
Real 3D.
The special theater.
Right.
I thought the CGI was beautiful. The other world, what world were we in?
Quantum Realm.
The Quantum Realm, sorry. The Quantum Realm was beautiful. Thumbs up to the CGI guys. You earned your pay. Well, I don't know what they get paid, but they earned a good paycheck for that because that was great. I can't fault the acting in the movie. I mean, for what it was. I mean, everybody seemed to do a good job.
Yeah, just about everyone involved is a pretty veteran actor.
I mean, Scott's daughter.
Yeah, I mean,
good job, kiddo.
I mean, even she, has got quite a few credits under her belt, playing one of the wayward sisters in Supernatural, and and a couple other things. So yeah, she's pretty solid.
But bottom line is, too much silliness. Didn't like a couple of the plot lines. Thought it was beautiful.
Anything to say about MODOK?
Yeah, more comic relief.
Well, I mean, I always remember, like, most of the iterations of MODOK I've seen, he's, that's what he is. He's a petulant child who's, often throwing a temper tantrum, pretty much.
Yeah, but he pretty much runs AIM. What are you gonna do with AIM now? You're just gonna add that?
But like
MODOK?
But anytime you insult him or whatever,
Defy him.
Yeah, he's like, no, you will not defy me.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
First off, he shouldn't have been in the story at all.
Mm-hmm. And making him, be the former Yellow Jacket, like that was
like that.
That was different. Is he an alien in the comic books?
No,
he's a person.
No, he's a guy that they experimented on, and AIM messed with him and screwed him up and made him MODOK.
That makes better sense than being an alien in the comic book. So, okay, so there's MODOK. All right, so this is one of those movies where the critics and the fans are really split on. On Rotten Tomatoes, at the time of this recording, the critic score is at 48%. And it's one of the lowest scores of any MCU film. I think the only one lower than this is The Eternals.
Thor: Love and Thunder score?
Yeah, I was like, what score does Thor: Love and Thunder have? And I'll put that on the screen here. So, should be lower. Whereas the audience score for the movie is 84%. So obviously most of the fans liked it, critics did not. And as fans who are giving a critic's review, what did we score this one at, old man?
I gave it 3 out of, what did we do? 3 out of 4 popcorns.
3 out of 4 popcorns
which is a good score.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. That's a good. A 2 would be a movie that I don't regret seeing, but I'll probably never watch it again. 2.5, of course, is above average. 3 is a good movie.
I always thought of 2 as being a meh kind of movie.
Well, would you say a 2 is one you regretted seeing?
Could be.
Well, with me, it's like, it was worth watching, but it wasn't great.
2.5, enjoyable movie. Might have some rewatchability, but we'll see.
And for those of you who haven't followed the channel for a long time, I've never given more than 4 popcorns to a movie in a year.
Right.
Any calendar year, sometimes there's been none, but there's never been more than 4 popcorn movie in a year.
And most MCU movies get 3 or 3.5 most of the time.
I think I don't remember what I gave Thor, but looking back on it, I'd say 2.5.
Probably.
I might have given it 3, I don't know.
So there you have 3 out of 4, and that is our review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I mean, go see it. Tell us what you think.
Right.
What did I say I would do?
Do the thumbs up.
Okay.
All right. Now on to some other entertainment news. So we have sort of details about what Wonder Woman's future is in James Gunn's new DCU.
Does she have a future?
Well, that's the thing. So they laid out their plans for the first chapter of the DCU a few weeks ago, and other big and small screen projects were announced. Fans weren't given a definitive answer as to one of the cornerstones of DC Comics, that would be Wonder Woman. So a Paradise Lost TV series set in Themyscira is in the works for Chapter 1, but as far as we know, Diana will not appear. So Gunn later confirmed that he hadn't given Gal Gadot the boot just yet, as early rumors suggested, but he has spoken to the actress, presumably about either staying or just a way to part ways with each other and with the character. So Gunn still hasn't directly addressed Gadot's status, but there's a chance that they're simply trying to work out a new deal. But then again, DCU is going to be recasting both Batman and Superman, so it would probably make more sense if Wonder Woman ended up being recast as well. So they're still in talks with Gadot, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, you can't put an actress on hold until she's too old to play the part.
Right. All right. So that is entertainment news and our review. So
I got a comment. Gunn, get your house in order.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, can't say he's not trying on that front, but it takes time. All right, that is entertainment news and reviews. Now let's do comic book reviews.
We do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do that. It's called back issues. Okay. All right. So what are we gonna do first?
Well, we're gonna do the transition.
We're gonna segue into something else.
Yeah. All right. So first up, our mentions this week. We have 2 mentions.
Yep. One not so good.
Yeah.
We'll start with that one.
Okay.
So, Dark Horse Comics. We don't get a lot from Dark Horse.
No.
Get a couple. Or one maybe. Master of the Universe, Masterverse, #1. I don't know that we've ever gotten a Master of the Universe comic.
Not that I remember.
Hasn't been a lot, but I don't think we've ever gotten one.
Okay. So in this issue, He-Man has, just defeated Skeletor for the upteenth time, and Sorceress and Zodak are off in the Sorceress Temple, and they're talking, and the Sorceress decides to show Zodak how things might have fared between He-Man and Prince Adam if things had gone just a little bit differently. So she starts showing him all these alternate realities of what may have happened. One of the things that she shows him is a reality in which, Prince Adam is an okay guy, but the sword of power is cursed to where when he uses the power, he turns into a monster, like, Frankenstein or Dr. Jekyll. No, Mr. Hyde. And each time he uses the sword, it takes a little bit more of his soul away. So that's a scary scenario. Then she shows him a different story in which Prince Adam is actually more of a caveman, and that he's kind of a con man using his sword and powers for selfish gains. And this one was actually drawn by
Sergio Aragonis.
Sergio Aragonis, who drew...
He drew Gru, which is a Conan parody, but he got his start in Mad Magazine drawing the little one-shot little cartoons in the borders of the magazine, which I used to love.
Okay. Well, consider me not a fan of Sergio's artwork, because
not for everybody, but I like him.
It's really not good. And it's a shame because it really brings down, for me, it brings down the quality of the comic book, because the artwork where, we're in, our regular reality and Sorceress and Zodak are talking to each other, the artwork's actually pretty solid.
That first story is Kelly Jones, who's one of the greats.
Yeah, I mean, artwork on the first story is also pretty good. But overall, not the best issue. Like I said, the Sergio story brings it down. We probably won't get issue #2. So, Masters of the Universe, Masterverse #1 ends up with...
After we rounded it up, it got 3 shields.
3 shields rounded up.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
All right, next up, a book that we talk about a lot, and it used to come in the top 3 a lot. This is from Image Comics, 8 Billion Genies, #7 out of 8.
Okay. So, in this issue, a lot of things have been going on with in the world of 8 Billion Genies. And in this one, we explore the first 8 decades since G-Day. And a lot of stuff going on. The human population at this point is at just over 18 million. And the genie population is 213,000. Which, I gotta say, is a lot better than I thought it would be. Because... I guess it's a good thing the genies decided to cancel out any, apocalyptic world-ending wishes.
Oh, yeah, some idiot would just say, get rid of everybody.
Right. Okay, so the world, for the most part, has been divided into a lot of sanctuaries and communities, and, people banding together, and a lot of them have these fail-safes that they use their wishes for to protect the place. And also, they're smart, they hoard a lot of genies and wishes in order to protect themselves from any eventual attacks. And one community has a thing where any children who join the community, they can't use their genies until they're 25 years old.
So I assume they used a wish to prevent them from doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says El Futuro, that's the name of the haven. The wishes of children cannot be used without the consent of their parents or guardians. So the genies put on, I guess the genies as a symbol of them not being able to listen to their masters anymore. They put on these headphones so they can't hear them anymore, I guess. So, you don't trust a kid with a car or a rental car until they're 25. Don't trust them with a genie, I guess. All right, so that happens, and also, we've talked about this before. This guy called the Idea Man, and I believe when the thing first started, the first thing he wished for was he wanted people to believe in him. So he has this sort of hypnotic ability that people believe in whatever he says.
He's very charismatic.
Yes. So in doing so, he's been able to have people turn over their genies to him, and he's been able to hoard up wishes in his own little haven. And in one part, when another community decides to attack him, the genie who's closest to him, like apparently he's not a popular guy when he's not being charismatic, because right before the genie disappears, he says, "Well, wish I could say it's been a pleasure," and gives him the fingers. So what happens is he's under attack from another community, and he has his genie set to automatically counter any wishes that try to penetrate our defenses. The wishes just cancel each other out. So, I mean, he's a bad dude, but you can't say he's not smart. So that's going on, and was there another point I wanted to make? Nope, I think that was about it. So some pretty cool stuff happens in this issue, and it gives us a preview of the next issue, which is the first 8 centuries.
And the last issue in the series.
Right. Now, surviving, G-Day after 8 centuries, and that's pretty impressive for the human race, I guess. Mm. All right, so 8 billion genies, number 7 ends up with
3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 rounded up. All right, so that is our mentions for this week. Now, on to our top 3.
All right, first off, our number 3 book is Fantastic Four number 4. Now, the first 3 issues have been leading up to what did Reed do? It's been a mystery. Well, in this issue, we find out what he did. And if you haven't read it and you don't want to know, put up a big spoiler alert thing. Come back when you see me pick up the next comic book. We'll be done with Fantastic Four. But at any rate, Fantastic Four, number 4.
All right. So it looks like the FF are fighting these extra-dimensional beings from
the negative zone.
The negative zone. And they're fighting all around the Baxter building. And in order to save everyone...
Well, they're going to lose.
Right.
There's too many things coming through.
Reed sets off this device where, to the untrained eye, it looks like, a whole block, which included the Baxter building, just sort of exploded, imploded.
Gone.
Was just gone. And what happened was that in order to save everyone, and there's a bunch of kids inside the Baxter building, including their own kids.
Right, their kids.
Right. He sent the Baxter building and everything around it within a block a year forward in time.
So if you were anywhere in that area, you're gonna not even know what happened. You're just 1 second you're in the current time, and then the next second of your life you will have skipped a year.
Right. So everyone obviously pretty upset about all that.
Oh, Alicia goes off.
Right. Alicia goes off on Reed and says, our kids are going to be lost for a year, and you did it without even asking us because you think you're the only one smart enough to. And, Reed just tries to, interject and say, Ben, do you think you could? And Ben's like, Reed, I know you didn't just interrupt Alicia to come crying to me. So that was sort of funny in a dark sort of way, I guess. So obviously the popularity of the Fantastic Four, takes a nosedive with everyone thinking, everyone.
There's going to be people that had family members who were in that area
Right.
that are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm not sure about is, did Reed tell the public that everybody was coming back in a year, or do they just think that Reed somehow let them all get killed?
I mean, I don't know a reason why he wouldn't.
I would hope he did.
Right, but still, I mean, the FF had to, take a step back from the spotlight after that.
Oh yeah.
So Fantastic Four number 4 ends up with our number 3 spot with
3.5.
3.5 out of 5.
All right, next up, You Know Him, You Love Him. Hits our top 3 almost every issue. Gunslinger, number 17.
Okay.
Which is now currently the only Spawn book that we read. We stopped getting scorched.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it.
All right, so in this issue, Gunslinger finds himself in battle with 3 Celestials, and he's in a pretty hopeless battle. But he's also given some help from a human vigilante named Focus, and Focus is a speedster. And he's got his own beef with these guys to settle, but unfortunately, Focus isn't like the Flash. He can only use his powers in short bursts, and then he needs to recover for a time. So that makes his abilities limited, and even with his help, Gunslinger is overmatched by these 3 Celestials. So Focus gets the idea. There's a part of the lore that McFarlane has created that if you cut off the wings or one wing of a Celestial, then they'll go insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the loss of the wings.
Also, it would hurt a lot.
Right. So he cuts that off, and then even then, he's in trouble. He cuts off 2 of the 3 Angels' wing, and then Gunslinger, in a desperate move, he does something that's never been done before.
Let's save that.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see next issue how that turns out for him. So Gunslinger number 17, our number 2 spot for this week with 4 shields out of 5.
All right, next up, Spider-Man number 5, our number 1 spot.
Right. Okay. So in this issue, at the very beginning, all of the different spider variants are embattled in with the monster spider people, and they have this knife. I don't remember what they called it, but basically what happens is you get stabbed with this knife, and it's like you're erased from existence. Everything that ever happened to you, it's gone. You're taken from the
never existed.
The web of time, or whatever they call it. You're gone. So we're thrown into this story that takes us all the way back to when Peter Parker is supposed to get bitten by the spider. And obviously, in this story, because of what happened, he doesn't get bitten. Cindy Moon gets bitten, but with her, instead of being locked up in the bunker for 20 years, she pretty much takes on Spider-Man's job.
Takes on his role and fights all the villains that we know from the early Amazing Spider-Man stories.
Right. And also, interestingly, what happens is, so because, Peter isn't out trying to get rich being a pro wrestler with his new powers, he is home the night that the burglar breaks into the house. And, he, seeing Uncle Ben and Aunt May in danger, he makes a leap for the burglar. Well, he ends up getting shot as a result. So Peter gets shot, and then Ben subdues the burglar.
And Ben's a badass.
Yeah.
He took that guy right out.
I think he knocked him out with one punch. Well, Peter survives the gunshot wound, and then when Flash Thompson finds out what Peter did, he decides that, he's...
Respect.
He respects him, and, he had the guts to do that, and the two of them become best friends.
Go figure.
Yeah. So, all this stuff with Silk is going on, and in one part, Sandman breaks into Peter and Flash's school.
Well, he's trying to get away. He's trying to find a place to hide.
Right. And, in these types of stories, I always have a lot of respect for, everyday civilians who stand up to the bad guys. So in this part, the principal, who's in the classroom, and Sandman is looking to take all these kids hostages. The principal looks up at Sandman and says, these children are under my care. Everyone, get out of here and call the police. I'll keep them busy.
He's going to keep Sandman busy.
Woo! Mm-hmm. So,
Cojones.
yeah, mad respect. But luckily, Silk shows up and he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So, after this experience, Peter becomes sort of obsessed with Silk.
Well,
and
not in a creepy kind of way.
No.
Just he respects her, admires her, wants to help her.
Mm-hmm. So he sets up a meeting with her and says that he's a pretty smart guy and he can develop all this tech for her to help her in future fights with all these villains. And basically, Peter becomes Silk's IT guy. And it goes from there until Peter eventually ends up working for Oscorp. And the story kind of ends there on a bit of a cliffhanger that ties back into the overall Spider-Verse story.
So, it's possible that in the Spider-Man canon storyline that Parker never becomes Spider-Man.
I don't know how long they're going to keep with this story, but it was a very interesting.
I agree.
If nothing else, what if story. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse number 5 ends up at our number 1 spot with 4 shields out of 5. All right, so that is our picks for last week's releases. Now, what's going on this week, old man?
All right, well, it just so happens I've seen every comic book that comes out this week. Helped them pull them out of the boxes, in fact. It's a medium week for us. It's not a real big week. For Marvel, you get Captain Britain number 1, which I don't know if we'll keep getting it, but it's a number 1 Marvel. I chose to get the Peach Momoko cover.
Okay.
So anyway, I thought it was fitting for that character. An independent book called Local Man number 1 that I know nothing about. It just looked okay, so I grabbed it. Batman, One Bad Day with Clayface.
Oh.
Always liked Clayface. I thought that there was a lot of story to tell with this guy. I didn't like him in the Harley Quinn cartoons.
No.
I thought he was a little silly.
Everyone's silly in that that version. Even Batman's silly.
Granted, but I'm hoping they do a good straight story with Clayface.
You know who does the voice of Batman in that show?
No.
You remember Oswald from the Drew Carey Show?
You're kidding.
Nope.
Huh.
That's Batman.
That would be the guy who played
Cousin something in
Beverly
Beverly
Hillbillies.
Hillbillies. Yeah.
Anyway, in the remake. Now, who do you think's got the biggest book of the week?
Batman's always a fairly safe bet.
Well, they don't need to do a new Batman. They do need to do a new book for this guy.
What was that?
Big Blue himself.
Oh, okay.
Superman gets a new number 1. Now, what I'm confused about is the last time you and I read Superman, they gave him new powers.
I thought it was so bizarre they did it because people are always complaining that Superman's so hard to write for because he's so powerful.
He's over the top powerful.
Yeah, and now they gave him even more powers.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I had to get number 1 to find out what the heck's going on.
Right.
Once again, don't know if we'll keep getting it, but we're going to check out that first book.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's our picks for this week's comic. Get them at your local comic book shop right now. Okay, now let's head over to talk about what the Omen and I are up to. All right, so what did we get up to this past weekend? Well, we told you we headed down to the Triple Crown Pavilion in J-Town and went to the Louisville Comic and Toy Show. And when we first got there, I saw all of these moms and their little kids running around, and I'm like, I know some kids show up to these conventions, but this seemed a little excessive. So we get there, and I'm like, is this the right weekend? Well, it turns out that the pavilion was at least double booked, possibly triple booked, and there was some sort of
kids clothing
drive or a sale happening like over here in this part of the building, and then in this like little tiny pocket in the middle.
Little tiny, it just wasn't as big as we anticipated.
Right. I mean, I thought this was going to be as big as Louisville Con was a couple months ago.
No,
but
not even close.
No, it was a really small thing. It was basically it was 2 rows, and you do like 1 circle around the tiny hall, and you're done. And it's no wonder they booked up and we couldn't get any tables.
Right.
I mean, if we had gotten the 3 tables we wanted, we probably would have taken up like a quarter of the whole convention.
No, we would have been one of the bigger booths there.
Yeah. So no wonder there. And we walked around twice, and for us at least, it was a bit of a bust.
No, it was a good convention for collectors.
Right.
But we're resellers, so we have to have inventory that we can turn around and make a profit on, and these guys were selling to collectors, which I get.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do.
I mean, we did pass our card out, so you always hope something can come of that, but it usually doesn't. So that was our experience from the Louisville Comic and Toy Show. Hopefully other people had a better experience. All right, so that was last week, and now this week I'm heading off to a little convention down in Bowling Green. I'm heading down to Concave in Bowling Green, and this will be only the 2nd Concave since COVID happened.
This is a different kind of convention. This isn't a place you go to get autographs.
No,
or
it's
big comic book dealers.
There are some dealers, but it's billed as a relaxicon. Basically, we all get together and we eat, we drink, and we have fun in a hotel for 2 to 3 days, and it's a lot of fun. And there's going to be a cosplay contest, and I am going to be debuting a brand new cosplay at this thing. And the old man and I are actually one of the sponsors for this show.
Because the old man's not going.
Right, the old man's not going, but we volunteered to be one of the sponsors, so we're going to be giving away a prize for Friday night's trivia show. So, if you want to get a free prize from EMoney and the old man, you got to go down to Concave in Bowling Green. So I'll have pictures, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be having some fun this weekend.
If nothing else, you're going to sleep a lot.
Yeah. Getting ready for this show and trying to do everything that I do over the course of like 5 or 6 days, I'm trying to do in about 3 days. So it'll be nice to relax once I get there. All right, so that's my plans this weekend. Also, this Sunday after I get back, we're having our Sunday night Whatnot auction, and it's our toy auction, and we're gonna have a lot of cool stuff for you. We got some brand new things that we bought a small collection of figures, very small, like 2 shopping bags full of some toys last week, and we're going to be integrating a few of them into this week's auction. So be sure to come in for that. And we're doing something we don't normally do. At our live sales, like our conventions and the pop-up comic shop, we usually have an inventory of Marvel Select figures, and usually we say, those are too big to ship, and we don't put them in the Whatnot auction. Well, this week we made an exception because we know at least one of our regulars out there is a big Punisher fan, and we just so happen to have a Punisher Marvel Select. So we decided that we're going to take that Punisher and we're going to put it in this week's auction. So we're going to have that and a whole lot more. So be sure to come by for that. All right, so that is Whatnot, and then we have, reaction videos. We just posted our reaction video for episode 6 of The Last of Us, and we're going to have episode 7 later next week.
And doesn't Mandalorian start soon?
Yeah, Mandalorian's going to start in March, so there's going to be some overlap for a little bit. We're going to have
a couple weeks.
We're going to have some, we're going to double up on Pedro Pascal for a little bit. So be sure to come by for that. And then finally, I didn't update you guys on my New Year's resolutions last week. I forgot about it. So, as you predicted, the weight loss has slowed down slightly.
Has to.
I'm still going. I'm about 2 pounds lighter than I was 2 weeks ago. So you said about a pound a week.
Yeah,
And
that's healthy.
turned out to be a pound a week. I was hoping that I could keep, about 3 pounds a week going. But as if these two are any indication, then not so much at the moment. So there's that. And the old man and I talked about my screenplay, and we workshopped some ideas. And I actually did write a few lines, but it wasn't enough to amount to a new page. So still the same amount of pages as it was 2 weeks ago. But I'm still working on it. It's just things get busy around here. All right, so that's New Year's resolutions, and I think that's everything the old man and I have been up to and what we're going to be up to in the next couple weeks. All right, guys, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. Help us reach those 1,000 subscribers, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, weather's getting ready to turn soon. We're about a month or 2 months.
Maybe 2 months.
About 2 months away for the pop-up shop reopening, and then we'll be open for
Gonna have
half a year.
Gonna have a big new inventory of comic books.
Oh, yeah.
So, see you then.